The Second Crusade, Episode 3, Disaster at Dorylaeum. On October 25th, 1147, Conrad had made his way through Anatolia. After 10 days on the march, they were happy to come to the river Bathus, near Dorylaeum. The Germans were parched, and quickly began dismounting to water their horses and themselves, and soon the whole German army was spread out along both banks, dismounted and relaxed. The Seljuk army had been following them, however, and were patiently awaiting the right moment to strike. The Turkish light cavalry began the ambush by unleashing waves of arrows into the men and horses. It happened so fast that it was impossible for the German army to assemble into battle formation. Most died where they stood. The Turkish bowmen were followed by sweeps of cavalry with razor-sharp swords to swiftly mop up the stragglers. Fortunately for Conrad, his guard was able to escort him out of the valley and onto the road to Nicaea by evening, along with a few of his knights. Any wounded that remained on the riverbanks were quickly slaughtered by the Turks, as they looted the Germans' stores. As Louis VII and his army left Constantinople and marched into Anatolia, short of supplies and water, his men became difficult to control. After witnessing the remarkable discipline displayed by the Knights Templar, Louis asked the Templar master Everard de Bars to send Templar officers to each division of the army, with orders that all should heed their advice and follow their commands. The Templars had taken on a new role, that of military police. They had also moved beyond their original role as highway patrol, and were now acting as a military unit. At Nicaea, Louis met up with Conrad with the remains of his army. He had told them of his great disaster at Dorylaeum, blaming it on Byzantine treachery. Louis and Conrad made their way through the Holy Land together, following the safer coastal road where they could maintain contact with the Byzantine fleet. When they reached Ephesus, Conrad fell ill and had to be returned to Constantinople. His army fell under the command of Louis. 2 days out of Laodicea, the French had to follow the only road through the mountains, which climbed over a high pass. Louis's uncle, Amadeus of Savoy, commanded the vanguard of the French army. Louis had ordered him to camp at the top of the pass for the night, staying within clear sight of the main army at the bottom of the northern slope. He decided to ignore those orders and proceeded to march his men over the pass to the bottom of the south slope of the pass. The French army was now split and vulnerable to the Turks, who had positioned themselves among the rocks above the Crusaders, who had camped at opposite sides of the canyon. The Turks proceeded to ambush them. Rocks and tree trunks rained down on the Crusaders, followed by archers firing down at them. The army was in disarray and was almost done for. Only Everard de Bars and his Templars stood their ground. They mounted their massive war horses and routed the dismounted Turks. After nearly suffering defeat, Louis put Everard in charge of the entire army. Louis moved his army to Antioch. Constance, Princess of Antioch, wanted Louis to help take Aleppo, currently under the rule of Nur-ad-Din, son of Zengi. Jocelyn of Edessa wanted the French to help him recapture Edessa. Louis refused all requests to campaign in Syria until he had fulfilled his crusade vow to complete his pilgrimage to Jerusalem. Conrad had arrived there by sea and was waiting for Louis. They met with Queen Melisande, who asked them to join her in conquering Damascus. At a council of war in Acre on June 24th, 1148, it was decided by the Christian rulers and nobles from Europe and the Levant that Damascus, the major eastern trading hub and the key to Syria, would be their next target.